that? Okay. As you'll notice, we're missing Bruce Starline tonight, but he is tying in with us someplace. He's out of town for a few days. We appreciate him tying in with us. We have our U.S. VA conference coming up, and anxious to see all of you there. As we talked about a little bit, we're leaving all the committee assignments as they are this coming year, but we're expanding the audit committee to include audit and finance. Brock, do you want to say anything about that just a little bit?
Yeah, through our discussions over the last year, I think it's come to everyone's best interest to get a clear picture of where we are financially as a district. So we wanted to put a committee together to meet monthly to talk around many items, but what comes to the board with regards to finances. Some of our goals are aligning the financial planning of the board and how it matches up with LAPA, review some of our systems, our procedures, making sure that they're being followed correctly, provide some oversight on what's happening at the district level, at the school level, just district-wide, to make sure we're all on the same page, make recommendations to the board, which directions we're going to go in the future, well in advance. We're talking multiple years down the road, so we have a really clear picture of what our future might look like. And then any large items that are coming to the board really have a good understanding of what is being consented to by the board. And so we're going to ask from time to time some of the directors to come in and speak to those purchases so that the board has a full understanding of what's actually being purchased. And just, again, want to have full transparency, full cooperation, and I think it's going to help us move forward as a district.
Wonderful. I think that'll be a great addition. That's something that Kelly had mentioned over a year ago, probably, wasn't it? And it's just taken a little while to get all the right strings pulled and get that together. So, Brock, well, your mic is turned on. You want to cover those that bid process and also, well, both of those.
Yeah, superintendents mentioned through our study loan review the idea of bringing in an outside entity to help us look at kind of our district standing. We've worked in the past with a group, and so we have had some experience. Trent Bills has worked with the group, but we wanted to open this up to anyone, just to see which companies can meet our needs. So we put an RFP out. We're going to leave it open through January 23rd to be able to put that together, make some decisions, bring that back to the board, at least have some recommendations by the next board meeting. But some of the things that we've asked about, it's in the back of your packet, but just enrollment projections, forecasting models, enrollment scenarios, just to try and get a whole picture of the county, the direction we're going, so we can make some informed decisions as a district moving forward.
I have a question really fast. I know that there's a few groups on state contracts. Do they also go into that process, or do we just review them in addition?
So we had, one of the groups that reached out to us is on a state contract, but what they provided us with didn't meet everything that we were looking for, so we wanted to actually open that back up. They may still be the group that we end up going with, but we wanted to make sure that they knew exactly what we were looking for and that they could meet those requests.
And then who's going to review the RFPs? Is it going to be committees? Will one of us be on that committee?
Probably two.
Okay.
At least, and then we can talk about it also as a complete board in a.
Right, but in the, I was on the RFP process for our benefits providers, so I know that.
Would you like to do
Sure, I'll do it, yeah.
And are you volunteering?
I'll always volunteer.
Yeah, we'll get at least a couple board members involved with that, and I'm sure you have ideas for some others on your own. So perfect. Anything else, Brock? Thanks. Superintendent, go ahead.
Yes, I'll move pretty quickly through these positive happenings items, just because we've got some really fun stuff to look forward to, some presentations tonight, informational. I wanted to give a public shout out to a group of individuals that supported the Bates community. As you know, tragically, right before the holiday break, we lost a beloved teacher out at Bates Elementary, Leandra Gilmore, and I just want to tell the board just how proud I am personally as a superintendent watching the response that took place, not only in the community was beautiful and how they responded, but I'm very, very proud of Principal Dax Cedarholm, our student services team, the way that they wrap supports around that entire faculty and staff, and as well as our education leaders, Heather and Kurt. They just did an amazing job. What I'm most proud of is that our teams right now are oriented to go to the problem, to the issue, to the crisis, and they side by side with the community. And so I just wanted to make sure that, first of all, our condolences are expressed publicly to the Bates community, but also to give a shout out to the response. I'm going to ask Emily Euler, just if she wouldn't mind, to come up real quick. I'm going to rely on her, but another thing I'm very, very proud of and wanted to feature tonight as far as a positive happening is a Sub for Santa effort that took place this year.
Thank you, Superintendent Butters. Board President Whittison and Board, we each year, the foundation hosts the Sub for Santa luncheon here at the district office. We invite all of our district employees or district office employees to make a donation, eat lunch, and then the money that we raise at that luncheon, we distribute to employees in our district that might be struggling during that time, during that time of the year. So we were able to raise, with donations from district office employees, a foundation match, and then a donation from Tony DeVino Toyota, we were able to raise over $11,000 at that luncheon so that we could help some of our employees at Christmas time. In addition to that, Hogan Construction donated $10,000 for teacher hardship grants, and the foundation matched that at $5,000. So in total, we had just over $26,000 that we were able to distribute to Weber School District employees at Christmas time who were struggling a little bit. So it was just a really, it was an amazing show of support from not only our community members, but from our district office staff to make sure that we're supporting each other throughout, not only throughout the year, but at Christmas time. And so myself, Dave, and Clyde, we got to go and deliver gift cards to many of these very deserving employees that were just having a bit of a hard time. So it was just a really great show of what we here are made up of at Weber School District. So is that absolutely right?
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you so much, yes. Couple of other things I just wanted to mention. I wanted to give a shout out around our WOW conference. It was our second annual WOW conference that was held up at Weber State on the 5th of December. And board, just as a quick reminder, that is a CTE sponsored event where local business leaders come and speak to our 7th graders across the district. And it was actually organized for the second year in a row by 2 of our students in Weber School District, Brighton and Ellison, and we featured them last year, as you might recall. We had them come in and featured them, and they carried on that great event. So I want to make sure everybody understands just how big of an event that is. Every 7th grader in the district, and also the many partners, business partners that came out to provide sessions and leadership sessions and breakouts for the students. It was just a great event. For the 10th year in a row, I'm proud to say that Weber High School's FBLA program has produced the first place Northern Region champs. So Weber High is just dominating in that respect. I want to congratulate the Warrior School community and the students and advisors, but 10 years in a row, that's a dynasty. Super proud of them. A quick update on the Catalyst Program grant. We submitted that grant on Friday, right before we headed to a little bit of a rest over the break, and we're expecting to hear back on a potential allocation later this month. I want to recognize the efforts of Rod Belknap, Nikki Slaw, Jennifer Boyd, Thurgood, and Brock Mitchell. They were heavily involved in creating that kind of model, campus model, innovative campus model that we're looking at there, and we're going to be updating the board in February all around that. But they put hours and hours into this grant submission, and it was a kind of a beautiful thing to see. We collaborated heavily with both Speaker Mike Schultz and with State Superintendent Dr. Molly Hart on this process, And board, one thing I want you to know is you're gonna be excited when you see where we're headed with this, depending on the allocation. But our goal, I wanna emphasize that our goal is to make sure that this campus model is cost neutral, meaning that it's funded completely through the grant, and the FTE staffing of it will be FTE that we already have on the books and talent that we already have in the district. So we'll talk about that in February a little bit more. And then lastly, we had 3 band directors in Weaver School District that were recognized and performed in the Rose Parade in Pasadena on New Year's Day, and that was Joe Windsor, who's at Westfield High School, longtime band director in our district at multiple schools. Taylor Shinny at Orion and Matt Kinney at Wright High School got to participate in that great event, and we were super excited for them. Their theme, as all of the directors across the nation, 300 of them marched, their theme was America's Band Directors. We teach music, we teach life. And so we featured them also on all of our social media feeds as well. That's what I've got for you.
I have a question. On that grant application, did we have a monetary ask?
We did. Great question, Kelly. So as you know, $65 million was made available through the grant program. We asked for $25 million. And as you know, we have an additional $5 million to apply to it from Intermountain Health that was donated to us a bit ago. So, great question.
Oh, 2 other questions. On that, the WOW conference, do we know if those, I know those students are graduating. Is this something we're gonna work towards?
There's Mr. Bell now.
Do
Yeah, do you want to speak to
here?
that, Rod? I think it's a great, yeah.
We have plenty of people in the waiting,
Yeah, awesome.
so
Okay.
it's gonna be great. It's a part of FBLA and DECA.
Yeah.
So they've got other folks that will move into those roles.
Awesome. That's awesome. And then I just wanted to shout out Alan Rollins on the FBLA thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great.
Alicia Mitchell, please.
All right, Superintendent Butters and President Woodison and Board, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak today. I'm excited to talk to you about America 250. If you'll back up, actually I can back up, I've got it. There we go. About this nationwide initiative that just kicked off at the beginning of the month. Going to give you just a quick overview about how Weaver School District is participating in this initiative. First, I would like to give a huge shout out to Tiffany Schultz. She's sitting in the audience. I would love it if she came up here, but I'm excited that she's here. Tiffany is our social studies specialist. She has done phenomenal, just a lot of work, a phenomenal job putting this together, rolling it out, pushing it into our schools, and helping to educate our teachers about how to integrate this into their classroom curriculums. And so one of the things that she first started with is this flyer that's up there. I'm just gonna read one tiny part of it. America 250 marks our nation's 250th birthday, a once-in-a-lifetime celebration of the people, places, and ideals that shape the United States. From January through July 4th, so this is a year long this year, 2026, Weaver District is joining schools, museums, and communities nationwide to honor our nation's history. And so this is a bipartisan celebration of our nation's founding, and information that we're utilizing is being provided by Utah's America 250 Committee, the National Council for Social Studies Teachers, and then the National Constitution Center, just to give you an overview of where this is coming from. In this bottom piece, there was a large letter from the governor, Governor Cox, that went out inviting organizations to participate, and I just provided a small snippet from that. One of the things that Tiffany has done, she went to every school, and there is a building representative who has taken this on and is kind of the hype person, but they're the overall educated person that Tiffany's connected with and helping to make sure that schools are informed about what's coming up and how they can integrate this best into their school curriculums. And one of the ways that we're also helping to educate communities about what's going on, we've got this poster, we have it here in the district office, and in every single building that our teachers are in, our students are in, and that our community members are walking into. And then Trent, he's gonna help me. We also have a lot of resources right now that are coming in, and Tiffany does all of the filtering, vetting, and then she goes back to that building rep, and we're utilizing some of these things in classrooms. Trent, will you just pop onto we've linked this to our district curriculum website, so if you look off to the left, you can see that these are grade level appropriate. So this is where we're linked for elementary. We have the same for secondary. And these are already made lesson plans that are ready for teachers to utilize right now as they're appropriate throughout their school day. And then if you'll click back. All right, so a few more resources and opportunities to participate. And this is, like I said, just a snapshot. Field trips, the pen is mightier than the sword exhibit, which will be in Layton. Common Sense will be, the original will be able to be viewed at the Capitol. These are just examples of things being pushed out into, by those building liaisons. They're just in the literacy vein, read alouds in classrooms, 10,000 books are being donated to Weber School District specifically specific to social studies components and in that vein. Read and walk programs, essay contests in both the elementary and secondary. And then one of the things that's already transpired was a live reading and recording of the Constitution for classroom use, and we had a lot of schools participate in this. I love the recording piece because in our government classes that are semester classes, second semester teachers can now go back and utilize that in their second semester. And in the elementary, we had grade level teachers get together and talk about the Constitution and then listen to this. And because this was taking place at the Capitol, it was just a really great opportunity for some of our little people to start to have a surface level understanding of that document. And
Alicia,
lastly,
sorry,
yeah,
who's donating all those books?
Tiffany, who's donating the books?
Coming from the Why I Love America Committee, which is associated with our America 250 committee.
So from the state.
And the books are called Why I Love America.
Awesome. Okay, and then last is this calendar, and I brought one for all of you. So this is also National Constitution Center, is full of important events in history, and our building liaisons are going through these and trying to integrate in. Okay, this is coming up. Benjamin Franklin's birthday is coming up. How can we talk about that? If this is a choice we want in our school, how can we talk about this in our school? But we brought one for all of you so that you can be a part of this as well. So thank you.
I know you already have one, so I'll pass it to the rest.
Sorry, Alicia, unrelated but kind of related with civics. Is our year one civics class starting next school year, or will it be?
So right now, the state is telling us it's most likely gonna be a semester class, and it will be the other semester part of government.
So it'll still end up being, so government and then civics,
Correct.
but starting next school year?
Yes,
Okay.
and they haven't signed off on that yet, but that is what they're proposing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we know when we'll find that out for sure?
We had a director's curriculum meeting yesterday, and they said they would let us know. Yeah, yeah. Any other questions?
This will be fun. This
It
will
is
a
gonna
good
be
year.
fun.
This past week, our son took his daughter to Boston. If you
Okay.
ask our son, he took her back so she could learn about the 250 years. If you talk to her, they went back to watch a football game. But either way, I think she
Either
learned
way, it was a
something.
win. Yes, awesome. Thank you, good. Thank you so much.
Larry Hadley, please.
President Wilson, board members, Superintendent Butters, it's nice to be with you this evening. Gina and I have been talking, and we thought maybe we'd give you a little bit of an update on some capital improvement updates and some deferred maintenance projects that we're doing. So tonight I'd just like to spend a few minutes with you. All right. Before we get into the projects, I'd like to just kind of give an overview. Some think there's this mysterious meeting out there that's called capital improvement meeting. It's just a meeting like you're all in there. But this meeting, we hold it in my office, and these are the members that come. We have 3 board members. Currently we have President Woodison, Bruce Jardine, and Doug Hurst. Brian and I are there and we facilitate the meeting. We've added Dave and Clyde so they can take back any messages to Gina. Brock Mitchell's there because we do a lot of financial discussions. We have our secondary and elementary directors, Heather and Matt. They come with us because when we talk, we have to maybe get messages to principals. We have Dax, our purchasing supervisor. Cody comes with us with our maintenance. We have Lane Finley come with safety. And Jeff Hills is our district realtor. So that's kind of the group that meets. We meet every second Monday of the month, except for July. There's no meeting held in July. What this committee does is we review and we discuss information, and then we make recommendations to the board. We don't really decide anything. We put it in front of the board to say, here's what we think. Sometimes we come up with land acquisitions or land sales is a big topic, future projects or status of current builds. My first 3 years was every month we talked about the 4 schools we were building. Compliance issues we work with multiple agencies that come up. MOUs with municipalities that we work with. Maintenance on existing buildings, especially emergencies. Anything that, from the meeting that Gina and I have that she would like discussed or put in front of the Capital Improvement Committee. And then we update on any requested information from multiple sources. So that's kind of what is discussed. Once the superintendent and the Board of Education have decided a plan of action or made the decision on a plan of action, this committee kind of follows through the execution of the plan. We do, on the maintenance of the buildings, we update what's going on. Many times we can't wait through the process. If somebody's boiler's out, we gotta get them heat. We just update the committee on issues like that. So that's kind of the committee, who it is and what we do. When I came to you in May of 2025, we had a study session and we had a few issues. Roy High School's roof, Uinta's roof, Green Acres roof, Snowcrest air handler, Fremont's boiler, and Rocky Mountain's boiler. We had some problems. That totaled a little over $6 million. And they all kind of failed on us about February at the same time. So we presented kind of the issue we would have. We also talked about the last vestibule. We had one vestibule left, and that was at Bonneville High School. We had it engineered, we brought in some other people. It was gonna take an awful lot. So that was our last one to do. So we decided on a course of action that we had already done at Fremont and Weber. So what we did is we closed off the doors, or we closed off the stairs with some glass doors that go up. If you walk in the front entrance, it goes to the history area. But we added a camera and doorbell. The tech department was great, met with us multiple times out there. So at the existing main doors, you could still ring into the office without putting a hall down the middle of the commons area to get them to the office. So we put all this together and came about, and that vestibule is done, and I'll show you some pictures of that. We're gonna film that vestibule, and actually it starts on Friday. We talked with the gentleman today. So moving forward, in May I talked to you about those things. Well, in January, just so you know, the Roy High roof is complete. We're just doing some edge metal. Uinta's roof is complete. Green Acres roof is scheduled for the spring of '26. The air handler is installed. Fremont's boiler is up and running. And Rocky Mountain boiler was replaced and functioning. This is why you haven't got any phone calls. Things were working. And like I say, we have got that vestibule done. So what we were able to do is, in our last couple of meetings, when we did a truth in taxation, as you said, and did that, and we appreciate that, Brock was able to get us some money, and so we looked at some deferred maintenance projects. I showed you that also in the board study session in May. So these are the projects we've added. We're doing some repiping of the hot and cold water at Country View. We're replacing boilers at Washington Terrace and Majestic. Superintendent Butters and I talked about adding Majestic. We moved a few things around, so we got those two. They're sister schools, so we could do it very cheaply. We are going to have the 2 mammoth units at Bonneville. That really moves the majority of the air through the building. They're being engineered right now to be replaced in the spring. We're replacing the auditorium seating at Fremont. We're also adding the new lighting and dimming feature at Weber High School. I was the vice principal there, and Daniels is a great teacher, and he's been so patient with us. He's replacing his own lights, he's doing some things. Finally, I called him, I said, hey, I think we can get you. And he's like, oh, fabulous. So we're adding that to Weber High School. We did some ADA work with some concrete up at the Valley Elementary, and we have done multiple projects over the Christmas break. While it was 60 degrees, we were able to do a lot more cement work. So we took on about 8 projects. Dax worked with us on that. We are working on the North Ogden Junior High issue, but since it was so nice weather and we could do the cement, we couldn't drive around the back of North Ogden Junior High without tearing it up. So we're waiting for that one to freeze before we can start digging into that problem. We're gonna have to do some exploratory surgery on that one. We're going to start here in February on the remodel to bring in the Horizon Academy students. into the Two Rivers building. We did a multiple sound system upgrades at elementaries. Went pretty well because all the little Christmas sing-alongs went okay. We added an ADA ramp at Canyon View, and we're moving Fremont's track and tennis courts up to be resurfaced this summer. So these are some of the deferred projects, meaning these are projects we've been putting off that we're able to accomplish. Just want to speak to you about Elevate 28. I know it starts with goal 2 and 3. Goal 1 is audio enhancement, and that's really not my purview. So I'm sticking with 2 and 3 for you. Right now, we're looking at goal 3. Goal 3 is to have every single point entry done, and we have now completed that goal. The second one up there are the doors that we're going to talk about in just a minute. But those are our 2 goals on Elevate 28. There is your new vestibule. That is what cuts off the stairs at Bonneville. And then you go to your opening that has a doorbell. We've got them on timers, so they open during pastime, and then they'll close about 2 minutes later. So kids that are late have to buzz in. So we've been working with them and got that finished right before the Christmas break. We talked about doors in May, and I brought up to you this grant. These numbers aren't accurate now because this is what I showed you in May. But we got that grant Lane had applied for. This is what we were working on, the doors. So I mentioned to you that we had about 2.4 million left, and to do every door would cost us about 14 million. So we are working on, right now, Weber High School. We actually brought in an architect to go over all the doors, every door. If you haven't walked through Weber High, you won't believe it. There's like 687 doors. We need to replace them. We really need to replace not only the door, but the frames and the door hardware. We've got that one done and moving forward. And we're at Roy High right now. It's hard to believe, but we cannot find a lot of hollow metal vendors that want to bid 687 doors. So we're having a little problem there. We'll work that out. We'll find them. So on that goal 2, like I said, we're not done yet, but we are working on the big high schools and to get all of our door hardware changed over. So just to recap, our Capital Improvement Committee recommends to the board, and then we follow through with their direction. We have closed out all the emergencies from 25. We've added funding, which allows us to hit those deferred projects. We're working to complete the other 2 Elevate 28 goals, and we're currently working with risk management, the fire marshal, health department, and the state safety mandates. Those are new ones. We actually did 3 walkthroughs today with the fire marshal. So we're trying to be compliant in every possible way. Any questions?
What do you do with your spare time?
There's a few things, but I appreciate that. Yep. Okay, thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
You bet.
Larry, you guys are always under the gun for something, and you've done a great job. We appreciate it. Emily Whitler, please.
All of you bet.
Hello again.
Trent, is that Bruce? Trent? Go ahead, Bruce.
Just before Emily gets started, I just want to give a big shout out to Larry and his crew. They are doing the miraculous work with not enough funding. I'm grateful for what they're doing and the leadership that Larry's provided.
Thank you, Bruce.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hello again. Superintendent Butters asked me to just give you guys a bit of an update on how Christmas Tree Jubilee went. You were all there, and so I know that you got to see firsthand kind of what the gala looks like. But Shakidra put together a video for the entire week, and so I wanted to start off and show you that video. Trent, will you play that for me? So as you can see, just from watching the video, I truly feel like Christmas Tree Jubilee is just one of the most magical weeks of the entire year, and I don't think that you can actually comprehend how it feels unless you're there on Monday and then you're there on Saturday for Tree Delivery Day. The amount of people in our community that show up and make this event possible is just unbelievable, and the success of Jubilee completely has to do with that very thing. There's no way that the four of us in my little office could pull off an event like that without the community partners that support us every single year, without district leadership, without every school that comes out and decorates a tree or donates a basket or sends students to volunteer at the event. I mean, it is run by student volunteers who show up every day of the week except for Thanksgiving to help us make Christmas Tree Jubilee possible. So it's just a really neat experience. It's not only our largest fundraiser of the year, but it really truly does bring our community together in a way that I've never experienced before. And I just really quickly wanted to show you some numbers from the last couple of years of the amount of money that we're able to raise at Christmas Tree Jubilee because of those community partners. We very typically are right around the $500,000 mark for Christmas Tree Jubilee, but as you can see, the last 3 years have been significantly higher than that. This year we raised $611,000, almost $612,000, and all of that money goes back to support students in Weber School District and fund classroom grants and school grants and student sponsorships. And our ask this year was for Unified Sports, and we raised almost $161,000 that we'll be able to support Unified Sports with for a very long time. So we're just really, really grateful for the event that we get to participate in Christmas Tree Jubilee, and that we get to experience so much good in our community from our district and from our community partners. So do you have any questions?
I'm not familiar with this, I'm new to this. How many years has this been in?
So this was our 43rd year of Christmas Tree Jubilee. It started off as a special needs fundraiser at Canyon View with some PTA moms that sold some Christmas trees, and it has just evolved from there into the event that it is today.
You're a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Lord, can I just interject really quick? I didn't give Larry kudos and Alicia, but I truly believe every fiber of my being, we have the very best people in Weber School District. The weeks leading up to, she didn't mention the weeks leading up to the Jubilee, not just the event itself. There are nights that we're trying to drag the team out of the building because they are working so hard to get ready for the event. There's just so many hours put into that. So I just want to personally thank Emily and her team for all of their compassion and their work ethic, because it's unparalleled. And give a shout out to all of our leaders. They're just doing a tremendous job.
Thanks, Emily. Wonderful job, well done. Matt Williams, please.
Superintendent, President Whittison, Board, and Mr. Mitchell. I just get to introduce to you the principal of Roy High, who's a celebrity all in her own. If I could use a couple words to explain Brenda Hart, and you're going to see part of this. Most of you know her anyway, but she's innovative, she's creative, and she cares about what she does. She's maybe the hardest working person I know, besides Miss Butters. Miss Butters is right there, and then Brenda. So it's with great pleasure that I get to introduce to you Miss Hart, who's going to talk to us about some of the great innovative things that they're doing at Roy High around tardies and absences. So, Brenda.
Thanks, Matt Williams. Superintendent Butters, President Whittison, and Board. I learned everything from Matt Williams, just give him a shout out. As you're aware, we had a rough beginning of the year when we brought our sophomore crew into our building, and it felt like every day we were playing defense instead of offense. That exhausts us. So we put our hallway expectations into place, kind of talk a little bit about it. Our admin team, we have rolling desks that we take out into the hallways during passing time. And we really are just running it, our admin team. We haven't asked much of our teachers. First thing, we just ask our teachers to greet students at doors. And then when the tardy bell rings, to either close their door or not allow students in until they've taken roll. And we've been able to clear the halls. So students are expected to be in class when the bell rings. At the beginning of the year, I would stand in the hall and the tardy bell would ring, and I'd look around and I'd wonder if maybe I was the only one who heard it. Maybe the bell was a suggestion. I wasn't quite sure, but we figured it out, right? Then we do a hall sweep, and our students know that they come to the tardy station and they check in with us, and with the help of PT, he got us some scanners. The students will scan their ID with us, and we track it on this spreadsheet. It doesn't link to PowerSchool and track the tardies there, but we are keeping track of them so we know who is tardy. And then they have the slip. They go back into their classroom, and teachers don't allow them into the class without the slip. This has helped us from chasing kids around the hall and having issues, fights, and the tension that we had in our hallways. Then we created a plan with our first tardy, second tardy, third tardy, and fourth tardy. The first one's just a warning and an explanation of our We Are One. That's our process at Roy High. And then a phone call home on the second tardy, just to get parents involved, make it a team effort. Third tardy, we have an admin conference, create a plan for the student. And then fourth tardy, there are some loss of privileges. So that's the what. The why, because of safety and our culture. Like I said, we were playing defense every day. There was one time we had a fight out in front of our building, and it was amongst parents, had a couple of students, but it was so bad we had cops everywhere, we couldn't let students into our building. So I had to grab the students who wanted to come back from lunch and come in and get an education. I had to bring them to another door. And I think that was the point for me, because I had one girl I let in the door, and I said, I'm so sorry, come in, we want you here. And she looked at me and she goes, it's okay, Miss Hart, the streets are crazy. And I kind of giggled, because I'm like, it's not the streets, this is really high, we're just here to get an education. So I think that's, for us, it was the turning point of we have to make a safe place for these kids to get an education. The big thing for us is that we had to teach our culture, right? Without our attendance policy, and kids just didn't adhere to the tardy bell. So we had to put expectations into place. We made them clear to know that you have to be in class when the tardy bell rings. So when we rolled this out, we took the kids in to an assembly, we taught them the expectations, we put it out to our community council, put it out to our community, and it really wasn't as hard as we thought it would be. We sat down as a team many times thinking, okay, this is gonna take a lot from us. Can we do it? Can we be consistent? And our team was great to follow through with that. I also reached out to other schools throughout the state who have similar cultures as Roy High to see what they were doing, and a lot of them are doing tardy stations, just different versions of a tardy station. So the results, did it help? Well, we're not sure. We feel it did. This was just a second quarter trial run. If you look at our incident count, that of course is from February of last year, but if you look at August 13, September was our peak, if you'd say, and then October we started coming back down, and into November and December, that's when our tardy stations have been in place, and it's helped tremendously. All of our fights and the tension we had among opposing groups happened after the tardy bell rang, so we took care of that. With our tardies, we'll still collect it as we go through, but you can see first quarter we had about 6,500 tardies, second quarter at 42. So has it helped with our tardies? Absolutely. Yes.
So what's your definition of an incident?
All of those incidents right there.
Yeah, so what would an incident be?
For this school, for us, if you look into those are fights. Okay?
And then my other question is, just talking about, since we don't have our attendance policy has changed. Are you seeing more absences overall from last year to this year?
No, they're
Okay.
about the same.
Okay, and then your absences, is that per student per class? That's not like a full day, right?
Correct.
So you're talking, so if a kid missed all 8 periods, that could be 8 absences?
Yes, yeah. So the feedback I got from some community council members that they were a little hesitant to put this into place because they thought that kids would no longer show up to class. Because kids, when we taught them in the assembly, they said, that's all right, we just won't come to class. And we know they eventually do. So you can see our absences weren't changed drastically. It's only about by 100. We had about 100 more absences. So it didn't affect our absences. We feel it helped our instructional time by getting kids into the classroom where they're supposed to be. We'll continue to collect data throughout the school year, but like I said, that was our trial run. We told them it was a trial run, and I loved the trial run, so I think we'll take it into the third quarter. The whole process of getting here was just making sure that students knew the expectations. We had to teach it. The great thing was all our teachers needed to do was just greet students at the door, right? We were taking on the bulk of it. We sent out a survey after we had done a trial run for a week. We sent it to the students, just trying to get some feedback. We pulled students in, had lunch with them, wanted to know what was going well, what wasn't going well. And you can see up here, students really detest AI music. So, to be fun and slightly annoying, we would play a song created by AI, and we'd change it up and we put it into our We Are One motto. And it gave them 2 minutes to know, okay, you have 2 minutes to get to class, and about 30 seconds before the bell rings, the song would end. And the biggest feedback was that they hate the music. So, as most adults do, we kept the music and it helped them get to class. But the students said it was great. And the best part about this for our team, like I said, it's a team effort. We're out there, you can see with our rolling desks, every passing period, and it's been a lot of fun because we're able to build relationships with students, and it's the students who probably brought the most tension into the building, that now we know them by name, they know us, and they know where they can find us. It's been a great building experience with our students to create the relationships, to create our culture. And that is what we're doing at Roy High right now. Do you guys have any questions?
My only question, maybe you won't answer this, but are we seeing this problem in this type of volume in any of our other schools?
That, and Rob, you can speak to that. We have taught Jennifer Warren. Where's Jennifer? Jennifer's going to present in February to the board on absenteeism. She doesn't know that quite yet, but it came to me as I was sitting here. We're seeing, because of Kelly, I'll answer this kind of indirectly, the implementation of PBIS, of positive behavioral intervention systems or supports in our schools, like Brenda has kind of outlined, the teaching of expectations and having that structure, that is actually impacting our attendance. And so she will be able to speak to each school and what the absenteeism rates are in the school. So I'll defer to her in February, if that's okay.
Just really quickly, I've had a chance to witness it on 3 different occasions. I've been at Roy High when they were walking with the rolling desk, and you don't get to interrupt that at all. Just so you know, if you're there during that time, it's hands off with them. But I think the biggest collateral benefit has been the relationship building. I watch their hardest kids, and I know some of those hardest kids, and they just have conversation with them. It's not a negative conversation, it's just, this is what is. And they have a great relationship with some of those hardest kids.
Board, I'll add one thing, and for Brenda's leadership, you know, one of the things we need from our leaders right now is to think outside the box. We're facing issues in our schools that they're novel. We can't keep doing the same things we've always done to make an impact. So I applaud Brenda and her team It takes courage to try something new and to be vulnerable and put yourself out there like that. And so I want to applaud her efforts, and I'll be interested to see how this continues to impact the culture. We're excited about it.
Thank you. If you guys want to come out and join us, we'll get you a rolling desk, okay?
Thank you, appreciate it. Heidi Alver.
Good evening, board. We do not have any new policies to go over this month. We're saving it all up for the end of the legislative session, which we're entering into. But we really are coming to, we believe, some sort of manageable conclusion with regard to revising our policies. We still have to go through the various articles we have and clean them up, consolidate some of them, work on the formatting. But in terms of new policies that the board needs to consider each month, we're hoping to have a slowdown until March. We do have two policies that we presented last month that are, we are presenting to the board again for, on second reading. The first one is policy 8650, research project and proposal. This was requested by Dr. Beccarini to create some protocol and guidelines with regard to outside individuals who were asking to do studies or proposals involving our students. We did not receive any feedback on this policy, so we did not make any changes. And in board meeting, we will present this to the board and ask for your support and approval on second reading. Any questions about that policy? The other policy is policy 8700, which is our animals in school policy. If you recall, last month we wanted to create a policy that incorporated what we already have as service animals in schools, but we were getting other requests and other comments from both teachers and administrators who are seeing animals in schools for other reasons, like emotional support animal, therapy animal. Sometimes CTE classes will have animals in their classroom. And so we put all of the various ways where we can see or might see animals in schools under one policy. We did make a couple of changes based on some feedback from Board Member Larson, clarified in the very first policy statement in section 2 that this policy expressly states that animals are not allowed unless it is allowed for in this policy, and that includes visitors, as well as parents and community members wishing to visit. There were a couple of other cleanups that we made throughout the policy. We deleted some of the definition that we realized wasn't really necessary, and then added a link to an agreement that we're asking schools administrators to sign if they have a therapy animal in their school. Some of our schools will bring in a therapy dog, and that person who's handling that dog has to be licensed and there has to be trained, and there are a number of provisions that are in an agreement. We linked that agreement. So those are the only changes that were made in this policy, policy 8700. And we will be presenting this in the board meeting for adoption on second reading. Are there any questions about that policy?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. That concludes everything we had for our study session. We'll take a break for about 60 seconds and then get started on our board meeting at 6 o'clock. Thank you.